Nishmat Aliza Batzol. She is my dearest friend's sister. She passed away 2 weeks ago, so this shiur is dedicated to her Ilui Neshama. So we are doing Parashat Terumah. This week is Parashat Terumah. Parashat Terumah is this. In Parashat Terumah we have the description of building the Mishkan by Moshe. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives the commandments, how to do it, and so on and so forth. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells to Moshe that Bnei Yisrael should take a Terumah for building the Mishkan, and so on and so forth. So let's ask a few questions in regard to this week's parasha. Question number one. What does it mean, Vayikhu li Terumah? What does it mean, Vayikhu li Terumah? Terumah is something that you give, you not take. Vayikhu li Terumah. What does it mean? Like, let's say, imagine somebody comes and he says, excuse me, I'm raising some funds for a certain institution. I'm raising funds for the Yeshiva. Imagine that the person that he's coming to, right, he would say, okay, I will take $10. It should be the other way around. If I'm coming to ask a Terumah from you, right, to building the Yeshiva or building a shul, you the one supposed to give me, not you supposed to take from me. That's Vayikhu li Terumah. The person is not going to tell him, listen, no, fine, give me $2, give me $10. Question number 2. What does it mean? Ve'asu li mishkan ve'shachanti betocham, and I dwell inside of them. Saying ve'asu li mishkan, and they should build me, let's call it a temple, and I would dwell among them. That is a grammatic mistake. It just doesn't make sense. It's like you're saying in English, we is. Who said we is? Is a plural, singular. It should have said, Ve'asu li mishkan ve'shachanti betocho. In it, build your mishkan, I'll stay in it. The third question is, who's building the Mishkan? Who's building the Mishkan? The Mishkan is being built by those which the Parashat calls them, the Torah calls them, Chachmei Lev. Chachmei Lev. Who are those Chachmei Lev? What are the aliens that came with from Roswell? Who are those Chachmei Lev? So let's go, with your permission, question after question. So the Torah comes to teach us that when you are about to give something, money, terumah, a donation, that is not really your money. Let me just take this money out of here because it's really driving my pocket down. This is not really your money. You took this money from a place that we call Mekor HaShefa, the source of abundance. You took it. You didn't make it. And you took it from whatever was destined and designated to you. You take it and you move it forward. You pass what you got forward. It says the story in the Gemara of Rabbi Yochanan, who was walking on the road. He came across a child. So the child said to him, "What did you learn today?" So he said that you have to take a Mussar. You have to take a portion of your income or produce and give it away. So the child said to him, "What for? Why do I have to do it?" So Rabbi Yochanan said to him, "Aser bishvil shetit'asher." You should give maaser for what? So you should become rich. So the child says to him, how do you know that? Because he said, it's a test. So the child says, well, who said you're allowed to test Hashem? So Rabbi Yochanan said to him, it says, Bechanuni na bezol, test me in that. Test me. What does it mean that HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, test me? Rabbi Yochanan says that whoever is giving maaser becomes rich. Maaser, mishum mitaser, mitasher. And in this case, you're allowed to test Hashem. And if you don't believe in that, try him. It says, listen, Kadosh Baruch Hu, I'm giving maaser, I'm trying you. I want to see if it's really true what you say. I mean, in other words, there's a way to give. I'm giving because I want to give. And there's another way of giving. I'm giving because I want to try. You want to try me? Not a problem. But who say, bring it on. Bring it on. Not a problem. How are you allowed to do so? What does it tell me internally? What does it teach me? This is very important. Only if I have the awareness of being a shaliach, being a messenger, understanding that is a key for the way I conduct myself in this world, the way I go about things in this world. I understand that I am only a messenger and everything that I have is not really mine, whether it's materialistic things, whether it's spiritual things, in other words, whether I'm giving you money or I'm giving you my knowledge. Everything that I have is not mine. It was given to me is not mine. And giving maaser from my produce is a proof to me that what? That not everything is mine. Why? Because, try me, you'll give from what I gave you, I'll give you more. By getting more, you come to realize that nothing was yours to begin with. The test, so in other words, when you're giving maaser in order to test, the chidush is, the new concept is, that you're not testing Hashem, you're proving to yourself, and this is why you're allowed to do so. It's a tremendous, it's a mind-boggling concept. Because he who does believe and does things by emunah doesn't need those show-off. You don't need a proof that HaKadosh Baruch Hu exists. You know that it exists. The proofs are for those who don't believe. So what are you proving, and to whom? To Hashem? You're not proving to Hashem, you're proving it to yourself. It's a very, very important lesson to remember. It says, realizing by giving is realizing that I became the messenger. In other words, HaKadosh Baruch Hu chose me to be that pipe of abundance that comes to this world to do good with others. Now, how do I know that, again, everything comes from Hashem? It's very simple. The giving of the spiritual is much more difficult than the giving of the physical. And yet, to the physical, to the chomri, they said 10% Rabotai is not a big deal. 20% is the amount. Said 10%, give 20%. And yet, never give more than 50%. Why? It should not become a burden to others. When it comes to the spiritual, there's not, if your teacher will give you 10%, or would be willing to give only 10% of what he knows, we're not going to know anything within one generation. When it comes to giving your knowledge, you are expected and wanting to give 100%. As on the contrary, when you learn so you'll be able to give to others. And that is a tremendous thing to realize. If you have a person that doesn't want to share your knowledge because he's afraid, he does not believe. He's an unbeliever. That's the difference. And you see right away, we come in across a correlation. There is a connection between physical and spiritual. Aser bishvil shetit'asher, so you'll become rich. So the second question. So that was the first question. The second question. What does it mean, Vasuli mishkan v'shachanti betocham? Where we spoke, plural, singular. The commentators explain to us that the mikdash that we're referring to here is an internal mikdash. There's a very interesting sforno. Sforno is amazing. Sforno was born 1452 and died 1520 something. It was at the time of the Renaissance, the times of the expulsion from Spain. Very, I don't know if you guys know, he was a doctor. It was many things, but his perush for the Torah, his explanation for the Torah, is wonderful, clean, clear, coherent, and yet today, for whatever reason, maybe because not so popular. The Sforno says an amazing concept, that the commandment to build the Mishkan came after Maaseh HaEgel, after Bnei Israel failed to acknowledge the HaKadosh Baruch Hu as the ultimate abstract, and needed to build the Egel. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, okay, these people are not up to this level, therefore I'm going to build them something physical in which they could relate to, in which I will tell them that I will be in it. So in a way, it's downgrading our relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which will make a lot of sense if we get to it further down the road, but we'll actually talk about the Beit HaMikdash and the state that we're in today. It's in a way downgraded interaction between HaKadosh Baruch Hu and Am Yisrael. But Chachmei HaMikra tell us that the Mikdash in which we're referring to is a Mikdash Pnimi, is an internal Mikdash. That is that the Shekhinah, the divine supervision, the holiness, and I would refer to the Shekhinah now as holiness, as Kedusha, dwells in each and every one of us. And by the way, this is the machloket between the Sforno and the Rambam regarding of who has a chelek in Olam Haba and who is not, and so on and so forth. The Sforno writes that basically every Jew has it, because every Jew has done a mitzvah in his life one way or another. So Mimeli is a chelek olam. It's a very interesting concept to develop, if you're interested in that, to look into the difference between the Rambam and the Sforno when it comes to that. But each and every one of us has the Shekhinah dwelling inside of him, and not necessarily in the external, actual building that is called the Mikdash or the temple. Every Jew is a Mikdash Me'at. Every person is a miniature temple, miniature Mishkan. Of course, only if he allows the Kedusha to dwell inside of him. And here is a tremendous remes for us, a tremendous hint for us about how we should interact daily, should be the way we should conduct ourselves throughout the day. Is it Mikdash oriented or not? Would you do something like this in a Mikdash? Would you eat in a certain way? We know exactly. Now it's just a fascinating thing. If you take it, because it says, Am Yisrael is Mamlechet Kohanim. We are all in a way priests. What does it mean we are all priests? If you want to know how to behave, imagine that we are all Kohanim, and our body is a Mikdash, and everything from Avodat HaKohanim and the maintenance of the Mikdash, you could translate to Avodah Pnimi, to an internal work. You could, which is an amazing thing. If a person brings an Averah, you need to burn it on the Mizbeach, bring Korban on the Mizbeach, and it gets burned with the fire. The way we clean, we have the Bet HaDeshen, the Menorat HaZahav, and all the symbolism of the Mikdash itself would hint to us to something much greater, which is really the internal work in which we should do. It's a fascinating thought. If you follow that trend, you can reach such a level of perfection in Avodat Hashem that is unbelievable. But what happens if you take Chas v'Shalom the Beit HaMikdash and you bring a pig and you slaughter in the Mizbeach and I don't know what else you do there? There is a balagan. What a mess. Sometimes we do that too. It is an unbelievable concept to just realize that I am the Mikdash, my body is a Mikdash, and the soul inside of me, and I am altogether a Kohen, and I need to act according to. It is mind-boggling. But still, there is a little grammatic problem here in the matter. It says, "V'shachanti betocham," and I would dwell among them. So if it says V'shachanti betocham, we should have said, and they should build me temples, and I would dwell into them, and that would refer to the people. Why it has to be a temple, and I would dwell among them? It still is a problem. Again, it is a very deep concept. This is spiritual work 101. Forget about legalizing pot. It get you nowhere. I'm really serious, and I've said it to you many times. The spiritual journey has to be substance-free. You cannot reach any level of spiritual elevation using any substances, whether it's cigarettes, drugs, alcohol, by all means, pot and shmat and all this stuff. It is impossible. It is impossible. You get delirious, you don't get spiritual. Without a doubt. So the Mikdash that we are talking to refers to the materialistic Mikdash, the physical Mikdash. That still needs to be built. In other words, besides that spiritual work that we have to all engage, there is a physical element which we must do and we must accomplish. That's building the Mikdash. In other words, we need to do things, we need to build things, and it's not enough to say, it's all internal, it's all avodah pnimit, it's all spiritual, I don't have to build anything in the physical world. That by itself, either all physical or all spiritual, is not going to be a vessel, an apparatus that could actually hold something with it to be appropriate to be called a kli, to be called a vessel. A kli, if you look at a vessel, you have a cup. Give me a cup. I'll show you something. All the hints, all the clues are here in front of you, we just don't look. In order to make this into a vessel that can hold something, I need the physical. I need the physical. But the physical creates space for the spiritual itself, for this. This is the difference between a kli or a plain sheet of paper. That cannot hold anything. So am I. If I want to be a vessel, I need to find the proper balance between spirituality and physical. That he says, "V'asuli mikdash v'shachanti betocham." We need to look inside, and we need to understand that our job is to connect them together, to merge them together, to fuse them together. Building a house, did you build a house? You build a house. Terrific. Fill it up with Torah. This is the house. What's the purpose for the cup if you have nothing to fill it up with? You build a house. Terrific. Fill it up with Torah. You have Torah. Put it inside the house. Don't do it in the street. You need a place to put it together. You need both of them. If you're going to teach Torah in the street, why are your chances to to teach it to people. People are going to come and go and never going to learn. You need to put them together. That's why you all have to belong to something. You have to belong to the yeshiva, and you have to affiliate yourself with the shul, because you have to be together. That Avraham Avinu style does not work. We need to put it together. We always have to be involved, what we call shiluv inyanim, a combination, a merging of aspects together. We need to build a building. We need to build the building, but we need to understand that building the building is not the goal. It's just the vehicle, the tool to get it to. Ooh. And that Bnei Israel failed to acknowledge. That Bnei Israel failed to acknowledge. Do me a favor, just close the door, Ava. Bnei Israel failed to acknowledge, so therefore HaKadosh Baruch Hu took the Mikdash from them, took the temple from them, sent them to the Galut, to exile, separate them from anything that were connected to the land, build your internal Mikdash. By going out to Galut, something good did happen. It removed completely our urge to Avodah Zarah, because now we had to build on our Emunah. We have nothing physical to hold on to, so therefore the Emunah, the Torah, everything had to be strengthened and developed, because that's the only thing we had to we could hold on to. So therefore we build the internal Mikdash. After we finish building the internal Mikdash, therefore we need to go and build the physical Mikdash. And that's when we're going to go back and we're going to build. But we need to finish the job. Now, let me tell you this. When you don't come to learn, when you don't learn, when you don't see yourself as proud Jews, you are hurting all of us. All of us. Because we are waiting here. Each and every one of us is a brick, is another element that helps to build. Somebody's got to do this job. If I have a factory that has 100 people and only 10 people are working, that factory is not going to last. So it's your responsibility. So when a person does an averah, not only he hurts himself, he hurts us as well, he hurts everybody. We all in this together. Vasuli, and that would make me mikdash v'shachanti betocham. We are all in it. I read something terrible. Some research was done that within one generation, most of American Jews are not going to be called halachically Jews. It is mind-boggling. Because of assimilation. Because they didn't see to build, to merge both of them together. We need to understand ma'ikar u'matafel. What's important and what's not important. We need to understand what is the goal and what is the objective to get the goal. How do we get there? Ma matara u'ma'u ha'emtza'i. What is the vehicle to get to this goal? If you want to succeed, you need to realize this. Your success is dependent on your ability to distinguish between what's important and what's not important. To be able to distinguish between what's the goal and what is the instrument to get you to the goal. If you need to get to work, you need a car. But if all your effort goes to get the car and not to get into work, you have a problem. Now that you got the car, you're spinning around town, you're not going to work, you have a problem. You forgot what you're doing. Do we forget what we did this for? What are we starting this whole thing for? People build shuls for what? To fight? They pray to come to pray. You forgot what we did this for. People forget when they get married. What did we get married for altogether? You forgot you had love? Now you get into your debts, into your arguments, into this. It's my way, his way, that way, her way. We forgot what we started this for. It's exactly what happened to us. It's exactly what happens to Am Yisrael. In order for success to come, you have to designate your goals. You have to designate the goals and write down the path in which you would need to take to get to these goals. If you don't have goals, you would fail. You would fail. And that's what most people fail, because they have no goals. And they forget sometimes, even if they have goals, why they start this altogether. You go to college to do what? To learn. You don't go to college to chase after girls. You forgot. And so on and so forth. That brings us to the third question. I want to do the siyum before I read. So the third question is, so who are those Chachmei Lev which are in charge or actually take the building altogether, those who build the Mikdash? So Chachmei Lev are those people who don't pay too much attention. I'm saying it in the wrong way. Chachmei Lev are those people who don't put too much importance into what they do, and too much meaning to what they do. Not that they, disregard it, but they don't get to stop and to have like a moment of silence of, let's appreciate what I have just done or what I've just said. That is amazing. These are the people who don't stop. These are the people who concentrate on constant action, on doing. They don't think what people will think of me. They don't think of how they're going to remember me. They don't think on what would the people say. Most people are like that. They are concentrating on current doing, asiyah achshavit, on doing now. So if we said that the Mishkan is actually the internal building that we do for ourselves, so what is the description of the Mishkan comes to tell us of how to build this? Let's look at it this way. The Mishkan is a temporary setting. Every time they went from one place to another place, they put it back, rolled it up in bundles, put it on crates. They didn't know where they were going. They took it out, they built it out again, and every single time they traveled, even when they went into Eretz Israel, they built it and rebuilt it, and every single time they put the fineries inside, the best, the gold, the silver, the copper, the best. The best. And you should know, there's a big difference between the Mishkan and the Beit HaMikdash. The Mishkan, Am Yisrael gave from his heart. Am Yisrael gave it from his heart. They wanted to give. Beit HaMikdash, there was a tax. Beit HaMikdash was destroyed. The Mikdash, the Gemara tells, the Mishkan, all the Kelim, the Gemara tells us, Shlomo HaMelech put it at the bottom of Beit HaMikdash and built Beit HaMikdash on top of that. Beit HaMikdash will be destroyed. All the Klei HaMikdash, the original Klei HaMishkan, are still in existence. Why? Because it's something that Am Yisrael gave from himself. And the same thing goes for Torah. From Am Yisrael gives from himself without thinking for the sake of Torah, it stays forever. You are so concerned with your name staying forever, connect yourself to the Torah. Give yourself for the Torah. Whether it's your time, which is more appreciated, or your effort, or something. Connect yourself to eternal, to Ein Sof, through the Torah. So Am Yisrael knew, those Chachmei Lev, that the moment, that the right now, is what is important. That every single moment, I need to give it my best. Even if this moment is past and is going to go and is never going to come back forever. Every single moment, every single time, every single effort, I need to give it my best, my fineries, my gold, my silver, my copper. It's the same thing as you do in art. if an art in the art, is an artist, will think, how would I create, a masterpiece? I want to create a masterpiece. Picasso never thought to become Picasso. He just painted. Or Leonardo, all these great artists did not think of creating a masterpiece. They just created. Because if you're going to stop and you think, how I'm going to create a masterpiece, guess what will happen? You're never going to create anything. Not only a masterpiece, anything. You don't have to think about how we are going to be remembered. How will people think of me in the future? And so on and so forth. A real artist concentrates in the now, and he creates. He lets go of everything, and he does. Maybe this is the reason, by the way, that most artists create their masterpieces when they were hungry, they were broke, because you have nothing to hold on to. You just create. You just let go of everything. You just let go of everything. This is the advantage, by the way, of theater over movies, over cinema. Because you go to a theater and you see it now, and it's gone. Next time, next show is going to be different. In TV or in movies, you can do replay and pause and replay and pause, and it's over and over and over again. Do you live your life as a theater or you live your life as a movie? Are you a replay? Most likely you all a replay. But the sad part about it, you're not even a replay of your own creativity. You're a replay of somebody else. Instead of listening to MP3, so-called, try to think if you're going to listen to, reel to reel. Because a rabbi, come on, it's old. You are a replay. Because you never concentrate in the now. You never give your now the best. You never give your best effort. You always, for tomorrow, I'll do it. Next time, when I get there, I'll do it. No, now you do the best. You in school, you go to college, you give it your best. You don't go think about going to work now. Maybe I'll go make some money here, I'll make some money there. Because you know why? Because right now your job is to go to school. Your job is to learn. Your job is to score A's. Or if you can only B, is B. But if you can score an A, you got a B because you were busy. It's no good. You're stealing. You're wasting resources. Because you need to understand that for the creation of the now, you are giving those resources the tools to create now. When you are not engaged in this action that was given to you, you're wasting resources. It's a missed opportunity. Most people miss the whole entire life like that. A real artist does not stop to say how I'm going to create. He just creates. He doesn't ask questions. In our lives, we have an opportunity to create a multifaceted piece of art. There's going to be of color and sound and movement and texture and so on and so forth. Your life is the canvas in which you create your masterpiece of your life. The question is, to be asked, is or are you interested in real art? Or are you just interested in a cheap copy? Are you willing to let go and give life the best shot that you have? Or not? That is the lesson, the spiritual lesson from this week's parasha. So now, I'm going to call upon Ari and Josh to please do the siyum. And we siyum on Masechet Ta'anit. We'll do the siyum. We say the Kaddish. We'll eat, and then we pray Arvit and go back to the Gemara. Shabbat Shalom.